All right, so in this stream we are going to test a couple things out. I may have figured out how to get things working so that I can multi-stream between YouTube and Twitch, and I'm probably going to add other platforms too if this works. So let me click start on this and see if that works. I might need to pull this over here, but this should be my Twitch channel. Alright, that's annoying, so let's mute that. Anyway, so now I should be able to stream on both my my YouTube page and Twitch, and I can probably add a good amount of different ones. Now this probably doesn't look so good, so let's toss this back over here, and I can kind of show you how I'm doing it. We'll see how the lag is and if there's any other issues that kind of arise. In this chat or this stream, I'll probably read some chats out too. What's up, Antonio? What's up, ETH? I don't know if that's supposed to be like Ethereum. I'm not using Restream, and I'll show you what I'm using in a second to do this. So what I'm using is this here. So I'm using this thing called, I don't even know what it is. It's like multiple RTMP. And it's this guy, it's by Sora Yuki here. And basically it seems that you can just add as many as you want in OBS and you can just stream. Now, again, I don't know if there's going to be like bandwidth issues or something like that that arises, but it is possible, at least between YouTube and Twitch so far, it seems. So you guys can let me know. There's a link in the chat of this video, I guess, or this live stream, and you should be able to find my Twitch link at the bottom, so you can see if anybody uses Twitch or whatever, you can find me over there. I'll probably just continue to stream on this and like a bunch of other platforms. So in the future, I plan on adding Theta, potentially DLive, and potentially Trovo as well, just to kind of expand, but definitely Theta because it's one of those crypto platforms, and you know that I support the crypto platforms. What's up? I wouldn't know how to say this. Zek, we'll just say Zek. And what's up, ASDF? So also, I guess I don't have any of my links up here, and my new preferred browser is probably going to be LibreWolf for a time. The only ones I really recommend right now are, I don't know, probably double the bandwidth. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see. If I can get up to 3 services, I'll be happy. If I can do YouTube, Twitch, and Theta all at the same time, that'll be enough for me. But if I can do more, then I'll just stream everywhere. But anyway, so you can find me over on my website. You can find me on Twitter. I'll probably start posting these streams over on Twitter. I think I've got like 50 followers since I started telling people that it existed. Same with Odyssey too. So like people have been following me over on Odyssey, which has been great. I think I've gotten like almost 100 followers since I started telling people I was over there. I'd rather people follow me here. Honestly, I don't really care if you follow me on Twitter. But, you know, my website and Odyssey, and then in the future Theta. These are the platforms that I want to support in the future. I'd like to eventually, I don't even want to get started really on Twitch. I'm just on there because, you know, now it's easy to do that. Let's see. So you can check out my GitHub. I'm probably just going to be working on a couple things in this video. I'll need to sign into this later. And let's see, you can also support me over on Patreon, and I've gotten a few more supporters. Someone supported me today. I forget what their exact name was, but when I figure out a way to get everybody's name at the end of every single video or before, I will do that. So let's get out of all this. We'll probably just keep my GitHub open. All right, so there's a couple things I was going to work on today. First of all, I'm going to be answering questions because I know people have been coming into the Discord with a lot of questions lately. Let me actually open up the Discord. So let's do Discord. All right. So yeah, some people have been having issues with a couple different things, and I just figured I would be here to, you know, go through that stuff. So let's do, you know, I don't know how to, like, I don't want to add everyone because I feel like that would be obnoxious, but I'll just say like I'm live, and if anyone's there, you know, they can come check it out. All right, so Antonio, switching to Twitch to check it out, and plus less latency, I think. Yeah, I might have less latency, but I might have overall more latency since I'm going to be streaming to multiple platforms. We'll see how well that works together. Okay, one thing I like with Restream is being able to see the chat of each stream all sourced together. Yeah, maybe I'll try Restream then. But, I mean, how hard would it be? I mean, I think I can get the pop out. I could, like, do them. Watch. How do I... If I can come over here, and then if I can go to my stream manager, I think it is. And then if I take... I think you can take the chat, right? Pop it out. And then we can send this over to 4. And there you go. So you're over there too. So we'll just have to keep the Twitch chat next to the YouTube chat and keep it on 4. And then we'll just, I guess, keep this over here. I don't know. Anyway, let me sign into this really fast because I'm all signed out. I'm trying to like really change my browsing experience here. The only reason I keep Brave around is for the BAT and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so what is this? Henrique. How do I know if the LSP formatting command is running prettier on HTML, CSS, and JS? So, okay, so like a couple checks you could do. Before I do that, though, I just want to show people how I got the restreaming working, and then I will answer your question. So let's jump over here. And so what I used was, no, that was for VirtualBox, but I think it was OBS. Yeah, so if you're on Arch Linux, you can just do OBS multi-RTMP, and you can install that, and it will immediately set this up for you. Like, this will just be over here, and you can just add, you know, whatever your stream key and the server and all that kind of stuff right over here, and there you go. You can, you know, multi-stream without having to use some other platform like Restream, although I don't think Restream is necessarily bad. All right, hold up. We're having a window crisis here. Let's throw this over here. Let's send this over to 5, and we're gonna leave all of this stuff over here, and we'll send actually that over there. All right. So yeah. So if you're on here, but there's, you know, you can find this other places. So let's do Wolf, and we'll just search for this really fast. I think it's like a GitHub project or something like that. This is where I found it on the AUR. One problem is, though, that it's all in, you know, Spanish, and I can't read that, so what can I do, you know? But it was really easy to install just with Arch Linux. I'm sure this is easy to install for people who know how to install OBS plugins or whatever it is. Anyway. Let's see, I actually started my init.lua from scratch. Took a couple of days, but got LSP Telescope, MVim Tree, and Tree Sitter. Although I have to disable Tree Sitter for now because there's an ABI version bug. Yeah, I've heard about that bug. I don't know if I've ran into it yet, but I guess that's an issue. And thanks for motivating me to start. Yep. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hopefully just get more people to use things like, you know, more open source things like, you know, Neovim, things like, you know, building your own stuff. That's kind of what, you know, I'm making this channel for. So, you wanted to know something about, you know, how Prettier works. So let's do repos really fast before this becomes catastrophic. Okay. Now, let's go into repos, and we want to go into config. And we already have something like that. Now, your question was LSP formatting to run prettier on HTML and CSS and JS, right? So what I have in the config, and we can kind of just give you a tour of what's going on here, right? So the first thing you'll do, at least for JavaScript, right, is you can say the formatter you want to use right here, right? So you can say, okay, I want to use prettier. right? That's the command I want to use. In the future, I'll have executable paths here so that you can like choose an executable path as well. So if you want to use global, you could just use this. And that's what I have it set up for, I think. Now, if we go up to Lua, and now if we go into LSP, and then if you look under EFM, EFM is where I set up all my linters, formatters. That's what EFM is good for, right? And I guess maybe if you had some like totally separate LSP that's like not supported by LSP config for whatever reason, right? Anyway, so what you'll do is if you see JavaScript, you can pass it args, and right now I'm passing it a custom set of arguments, right? And so you can see this, like this whole thing may look a little weird, but it's not that weird. You just have to point EFM over there, and then you just have to say like, all right, you know, pass it some arguments for a particular language, and just make sure that it supports that file type. Now, let's go up here to formatters for JavaScript. No, we want to go down to TS server. Yeah, so prettier, and insert this, and insert prettier. Prettier, what is it? It has this format command, which is global prettier, so you should have prettier installed globally. If you don't, you can do npm I flag g prettier. And then usually also it'll be in your package manager, so you can do like, mine's yay, so I could do like prettier like this, as long as you have it globally executable. And then after you know that it's globally executable, we can open up something like thing.html, and we can do like div, right? And it should format. I don't know if mine's formatting right. Oh, I don't think I have HTML set up right now, so we'll do JavaScript instead. Thing.js. All right, now we'll go like this, and there you go, formats. That's pretty much it. So you just have to set up the EFM server for it, really. I know someone also was having issues with like this auto indent. See how like I'm going down and I'm indenting, or if I like go like this and it indents, or if I go like this and it indents. So how I'm getting that done is, and maybe the weirdness is, a lot of these things, like you see these rainbow brackets and all this other stuff. If you see like things like we can jump over to, and we'll do header JSX. You see these lines too, like how they're set up. A lot of this stuff is a separate plugin, but it's also tree sitter that's really enabling this ability, like your ability to do things like have these light up lines and all that kind of stuff, right? Or even to have the lines in general. I mean, you can have them without tree sitter, but they're better with tree sitter. And now also to get this correct indent for the most part, like right now I don't have the correct indent, right? See how it always like goes out to the biggest div, right? So what you could do is, if you have tree sitter, you can install something. You can install, I gotta go find the plugin for it. And I have like a section for different tree sitter things that I have, right? So let's see, this one is called, the lines is this, and you have to be on the Lua branch. But for the indent actually comes with tree sitter. So if we do MV tree sitter, this, yeah, see I have it disabled for everything right now because it was kind of wacky. So what we want to do maybe is just enable it for JavaScript React, right? Because that's this file type. So all right, if you make this big, you can see, usually I have a file, well, oh wait, this is Lua. If you make this big, you can see down here, this is your file type, JavaScript React. Someone told me this, I didn't know this before. You can actually echo, and then you can do file type, type. And so you can see JavaScript React. So now things you apply to these file types will happen in these file types, right? So you see how like this indent keeps going out to the biggest div every single time that I do that. We're gonna save this. We're gonna come back over here, and we're gonna quit. We're gonna open this back up. Go to find recent files. We'll do header. Open it up. Now, with any luck, it should do that, and now it's under that one, and now it's under that one, now it's under that one, and well, we're still under that one, but now we'll go under this one and then this one. See? So this is how you can do better indenting. And this is something that's subtle that just comes with most other text editors and things, but you kind of have to set it up. And the best way to know your indentation levels, same how these indent lines are working here and they're highlighting and stuff, right, is to use something like Tree Sitter. Now, auto indent already works with Vim, and it can usually figure out like, okay, you know, what should I do? But obviously Vim wasn't working very well a second ago for things like this, right? Like native Vim just wasn't doing it for us, right? So we wanted to use something like Tree Sitter, which, you know, has the ability to kind of like take a deeper look at your code here and really just the file, and, you know, apply some intelligence from Tree Sitter. So I enabled it for that. And so that should work. I'm going to just push that up really fast. Fix formatting. And hopefully it still works in the other things too. Now, things like Python usually just work out of the box. All right. That's the thing. I have Prettier. I can run it manually, but if you try to use it with mvutils config enabled, it says Prettier command not found. So I don't know if I have that run rightly. So I don't know if I ensure that I have, what, nightly? You don't even need nightly, right? Like you can, if you go over to this config here, you can come down and you can say like, okay, this right here, right? You could just like build it from source. Like remove whatever you have. And I know it's not like the easiest way to keep it up to date, but I recommend doing it this way until 0.5 is like this stable one, right? Like until 0.5 is the one that's out there and it's like the main branch, master branch, right? All right. So, and then how you can tell you have the global command is you could just run it, right? And that's kind of how that works. Yeah. So I probably need to rebuild this at some point soon too anyway. Anyway, so let's go back over here. I want to make sure that my indentation levels still work in other files because I've had some reports that there's been trouble. So if we come down, all right, that works. Now see, this one just became weird. Now, what's nice about it is if you do that, it becomes normal again. So there's that. I don't know if that worked properly a second ago, so I don't know if like JavaScript React is having an issue. So why don't you do this? We'll come over here. This has got autosave anyway, so it you would have showed up like this. See, now it does that, and now it does that. Okay. And let's come over here and put that back in, open it back up, and all right, that's good, and that's bad. See, so this thing, JavaScript React, is also affecting this JavaScript file, right? And that's because most of these JavaScript React files, they kind of inherit from JavaScript. So I'm assuming whatever this indent thing does, it also goes and plays around with vanilla JavaScript and screws it up. So the question is, like, you know, are you cool with you know, are you cool with getting the good indenting over there and then getting a somewhat subpar indent experience here? Personally right now I am, but if you have that issue, you could go and do that. So you could go and fix that. Now I can expose all of this in the settings, and I probably will. That'll be things that I might end up doing in this video. All right, so let's see. What are other things? Now, I do have issues over on my GitHub that I probably need to address. So why don't we take this, throw it over on one, and go take a look at some of them. I don't think I want to work with that kind of stuff right now. User config should load last. It's debatable. Global install script, yeah. That was one I put in there. Auto install. This is old. This thing, yeah. Windows support, not big on Windows. Is there a customer user? Yeah, that's that thing. All right, so I think like the main thing that we need to work on then. Oh, you got it to work now? Nice. All right, cool. Let me move these so that's like that. Just copy the mvutils additions on your config. Yeah, so like my config is not going to come perfectly working out of the box, and that's by design. So in this globals thing, right, in MV globals, you'll see like, all right, these are all the different things that you can set, but everything is set to nothing by default. So there is no, like I could probably do something where I find if something exists and like set a sane default, but it's kind of up to you to, come fill in the blanks. Now it's really easy to do that because if you go into MV settings, right, all you do is you say like, okay, I want to see like what's available for JavaScript right now. Like maybe ESLint will be available in the future, but what you'll do is you'll do o.tsserver.autoformat, right? And then it's like, okay, the field is a Boolean, so you can say it's true or false. All right. So now you can do dot, and then you can say like, okay, diagnostics. All right. So after this diagnostics, you'll have access to signs, underlines, and virtual text. And you can set them to true, 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 or false, false, false. They're all true by default. You can turn them off if you want. So if you want all the virtual text off in JavaScript, the signs, underlines, you can get rid of it, right? If you just wanted underlines and no virtual text, you didn't even want to know what the problem was, that's also an option. I think hovering would be cool in the future, similar to how COC does. Formatter, so you can come down and you can choose like, okay, here's your formatter. Right now, the options are prettier. That's it. Maybe I'll expose ESLint as the fixer in the future. Maybe there's other formatters that I don't know about, but I mainly just use prettier. And then linter, you can set ESLint if you want to use ESLint. Now those are your options with JavaScript, but it's same with most languages that I'm supporting right now. So like Lua, right? And then like here's your options. You can do auto format, diagnostics, same as the other one, formatter. Okay, we'll choose a formatter, and then it's like, okay, well, for usage, it can be Lua format. And then it'll go pick that up, and it'll use Lua format. Same thing for Python, same thing for Bash. And then what I plan on doing is, like, general ones, right? So, like, turning off and on autocomplete, choosing a different color scheme. I was actually working on a different color scheme. I'll probably work on a little bit because I kind of only need to change the background again. Repos. I think it's under MV. Code color schemes. And we'll do pull. And I wanted to see how it looked on here. I think I was calling it lunar or something. We'll bring that one in. We'll get rid of that one. We could do generate. And we want to do instead lunar. And lunar. Alright. Update. There you go. If you want to get updates from things, and you should do this at least, once a week, right? You can do Packer update. And I've got to prune some of these plugins. I'll probably do that in this stream too because things are getting just a little bit out of hand. So you can see like all your updates when you do that too. I don't know if people need to know this, but yeah, this is a new thing. Friendly snippets. Friendly snippets has like all the snippets for vsnips. And there you go. There's my update to my color schemes. So what I can do here is go and put lunar in. We'll save. Actually, we'll just save over here. And then we'll go open up a file. So we'll do this. So this is like the beginning of this color scheme. I still need to fix the line here at the bottom and a couple other things, but I don't think it looks too bad so far. And we'll do this. We'll do header. Yeah, and so you can kind of see like just, some of the stuff I'm working on with this as well. All right, so now what I think we should do is, let me think, because we have all that working. I can either do that or I can get that working. I think what I'm going to do right now is, before I start setting all this stuff up, I want to go through some of the plugins and kind of prune a few because we have a few too many, I think, at this point. My HTML snippets I bring in alongside friendly snippets because I like to have the HTML snippets in React as well. So that's why they're there. This is everything related to tree sitter, and I really like all this tree sitter stuff. So let's see. I don't think we need the guide anymore. I think I basically know what I'm doing with that. I never used nvim utils. Saga, LSP kind. Kind is the one that gives you like all the cool like these little symbols and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to keep that around. Saga makes everything just look better like that when you hover or whatever. Light bulb. I could be on the chopping block, but we'll keep it for now. I use Java, and you know, working with Java, Neovim or Vim is a nightmare without this, so you know, gotta have that. LSP install, yeah, we like that too. This is for debugging. I don't know if I've gone through debugging yet, but I'm probably gonna do like a whole stream where I do like debugging with Java and all that kind of stuff. As soon as I get the test runner to work with Java. Compy, yeah, we need that. Emmet, yeah, keep that. Snippets, and these are snippets. This is everything tree sitter. I don't know how long I'm going to keep like the rainbow brackets. It depends if people really like them or not. This is just for icons. Galaxy line and status line at the top. This is what you need for telescope. See, like just tree sitter and telescope alone are, like make up like a good amount of plugins. You don't necessarily need the playground though, but I like working with it, but I don't need it. But I think, yeah, I don't need it right now. And also I don't use this refactor one either. So we're gonna probably toss that one. These are all needed for telescope. This is the media thing. I kind of like being able to search for images, you know, and see them. So I'm going to keep that. This is my file explorer, so I'm going to keep that. Color schemes. Polyglot is still useful even though tree sitter exists, and it's mostly useful for readmes and Markdown because you'll actually get syntax highlighting when you put something like bash here, right? Like if I put bash, I'll get syntax highlighting, and that's useful, and that's why I keep Polyglot around. Now I could just, you know, install all of like the specific ones for the files that I use, but you know, I'm not going to go through that. That's just me adding way too many things and just for not like putting in too much effort for not enough reward, I guess. NeoGet I have not been using. Blame, I'd like blame. Blame is something where you can do like this, and this is useful more so at work. This is useful because I can see like, all right, this was me who made this big error and I need to fix it, or it was somebody else and I can blame them. Let's see. I like being able to create gists, so I'm not getting rid of that. Rhubarb is cool because, like, I think I've showed this before. I can just pull up where this thing is, like right in GitHub. So we like that. We don't want to get rid of that. I don't really use live server. That's gonna go for now, I think. I don't really need this one. Yeah, this is kind of useful for registers to like see what's in them, but it's not that useful. Quickscope. Yeah, I like Quickscope. Hop is cool. Hop is like you know, it's basically easy motion, but it's done in Lua. And Ranger I still think is useful, especially Ranger's cool for like when I open up like let's do config nvim and I do nvim dot, and then I can kind of like start in this mode. You could probably make the case though that now that I can see images with telescope, that I don't necessarily need this anymore. So I may keep that in mind in the future, but for now I'm going to hold on to it. Let's see if there's anything here. Do you guys know that you don't have to have LSP kind to have the kind symbols? LSP config has that configuration already. Does it have all of them? Because let me show you, for instance. I will get rid of LSP kind. Like all of this stuff. Like, can I pass this symbol map just directly to Compy? Because I've seen that I can do this in Compy. Like I can pass kinds like this in the source. But can I do the other thing? Like can I have that for like a class and all that kind of stuff too? And if so, could you send me a link to that doc? Hey, thanks for your config. It's been super helpful when migrating mine to Lua. Yep, no problem. Hey Chris, check out the one dark theme included with your MV code color scheme repository. It has some issues with get signs. Yeah, a good amount of them do. And the reason that they have issues is because I don't really keep up with them. I keep up with basically two color schemes now. One's called Lunar and one's called MV code. Those are the ones that have all the updates. But people are free to go, fix them and put in a PR, and I will merge it if, someone comes through and fixes it. You can look at MV code and Lunar. They have everything perfectly set up. So you would just need to go through there and grab their pieces. Something that's annoying with JSON LSP coming from COC is that COC came with the internal list of common JSON schemas that would automatically be picked up for autocomplete. I don't know exactly what you mean. Yeah, you'd have to kind of explain that one to me. LS configs, I use it in my LSP config. Oh wait, it happens in LSP config? You can do symbols? Is that what you said? Hold up. Who said this? Oh, LSP config does it? Okay. I'll have to check that out then. I'd rather just do it through LSP config. By the way, for Quickscope, I think Vim EFT is better, at least in my experience. Alright, well, let's go look at that stuff then. Vim EFT. The reason I don't really care, though, is because it's still written in Vim script. And I'm not going to be adding, like, new Vim script stuff. When you find one that's written in Lua, I'll do that. But I really want to support all the new Lua stuff, if at all possible. And I want to rewrite everything that I possibly can in Lua for my thing. Let's see. Something that's annoying with blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you mean. It has all the configs. By the way, yep. Actually, my mistake. Compy has all the kinds thing. LSP kind is totally removable. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Doesn't Telescope have register peak? Yeah, that's why I think I don't need peak up. So I think I can just do this with... I think it was a little bit different, but maybe not so much. I think I can just do search. What do I have it under? Registers? Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure I can just... I don't know, like, if you could just, like... Can I... Here's the problem. I want to be able to select one and then immediately get it, like, get its contents, I guess. Wait, did it not, like, update? Search, registers. I feel like it... Well, as soon as I started typing, I got rid of all the ones that weren't like this. If I do, like, JDD, L... Maybe I don't exactly know how to use it. 9A. Yeah, I don't know. Peakup did a couple other things, but overall it's not really worth it to keep around, I guess. Bro, we need to learn from you step by step. Should you do thinking? Bro, we need to learn from you step by step. Should you do thinking? Yeah, so I'm gonna, when Neovim actually comes out with like a full 0.5 release, I will do videos small like how I did before in small pieces. Hop.nvim is better than all of these. I do have hop.nvim. Okay, so here's my thing with hop. And the reason I still have Quickscope. So Quickscope, if I'm like looking at one line, right, I just press F and just jump where I want to go. Now you can do that anyway, but it's quicker for me to go, like, all right, imagine like if I press F here, and you see how this U is underlined? Well, I don't need to like read this word and realize that there's no U's in it. So I know I'm going there, right? I don't have to think about it. I like that. Now with hop, I press S. I know there is a one thing command. Maybe I will do it. Maybe I'll just have hop. Because, let's see. If I do like AU, right? The thing I guess I don't like is that it just grays everything out. Right? Because if I'm looking at like one line, I don't need the whole file grayed out. Like I can just look in the line, right? And that's better for me. So like if like imagine I had the one care thing set up. And then also I wanted to I think they probably have something where it looks in the line, but I think it would still gray out the whole file unless I'm wrong. But I still do like hop for things. I don't think it's super useful when I'm doing videos because then you can't really follow me and then I'm maybe moving a little bit. It's like really unorthodox and you can't see where I'm going or where I'm editing or any of that stuff. Waiting for the one in Lua, yeah. Like if you had a tsconfig.json, it would automatically pick up the JSON schema and give you autocompletion for the tsconfig properties. I don't know what exactly gave them that ability. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what gave them that ability to do that. I don't know if that was like the JSON LSP that did that or if it was like something else. I'm pretty sure VS Code does that, but I'm not sure. I haven't used VS Code in a very long time. I'm trying to send the compy config, but I don't think YouTube chat will allow me to. Yeah, can you open up an issue on GitHub? Or better yet, post it in Discord? You can just post it in the Neovim thing on the Discord. You can go into the channel thing, the description, and you can send it to, you can join the Discord and send it there. Or you can just put it on my GitHub. It's up to you. Henrique, could you provide a link for the compy config? Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to... I think he meant get rid of, not rip of. You can set WinBlend 100 for hop.mvim. Okay. Specs.nvim. Let's look at specs.nvim. I'll take a deeper look at hop. Specs.nvim. Nvim. Well, I don't know. Does it exist? Let's see. Whoops. The way we got to search now is like normal Vim. Specs. Yes, it does. Fast and lightweight Neovim plugin to keep an eye on where your cursor has jumped. Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess there's different things. I'll keep an eye on this. I definitely think it's neat. The thing is, like, I know where I'm going, though, right? So, like, I don't necessarily need this, but I could see how, like, maybe it would help somebody else, like, follow me around. It's definitely, like, aesthetic. But I don't know if it's useful. But it looks cool. I can see why someone would add it. Let me see really fast. Yeah. Just so people can follow. Yeah, maybe I'll just have it when I'm doing like live streams. Is it super useful? We'll see. We'll see. I'll have to try it out. It's from a list in their GitHub repo. I try to post a link. Okay. Do I use splits? Yeah, I use splits. Like, what do you mean? Just like normal, like just splits? Yeah. I use them all the time, if that's what you mean. Let's see. If you use your window manager instead of splits, then yeah, it's super useful. Yeah, I guess it would be useful for that, but sometimes I will use my window manager. It just depends, like, what I plan on using. I don't know if someone put the issue or if someone pasted it, but let's see. let's do because I would like to get rid of LSP kind if possible. It's also very possible that, well, maybe not. Let's do Nvim compy. See what this guy's talking about. Doc Lua. Probably just do doc, right? And then come in here and then Control F for kind. Oh, it's not Control F anymore. I probably just blew everything away. Alright, hold up. 1 second. Nvim compy. And then we could search for in here kind. Kind not found? No, it is found. There's a bunch of them found. All right. Kind with. I saw the kind thing earlier. Yeah, I don't see, like, you can specify an items kind. All right, source configuration, compy source. Yeah, like you could specify an items kind. That's something I already have though. I don't know if that necessarily is the same thing. I still don't know how to use plugin in Vim. Please, should you do videos for new people? I have a ton of videos for new people. It won't be all the super updated stuff, but I mean, you could definitely get started with my old videos. Have you considered making a few helper functions to reduce Lua verbosity, especially for options? Someone put in a PR for that, but then there was so much code that went into it that it was just like for options, like what, like these? I mean, I'm only ever gonna set these once, and here they are. Right? Like, I'm probably never really gonna change any of this. So I don't know. I'd still have to write this many lines, basically, right? To like set all these things. So even if I had a helper function that made this command look shorter, it would still, I'd still have to have this many lines. It would just be more handsome. Now, it would be in a better interface where it might be more functional rather than, you know, like you could say like, okay, pass it BO and then pass it expand tab and then pass it the value. Yeah, sure, you could do that. But I don't know. What were we looking at? We were looking at the thing. Is Moonscript useful for Nvim? I saw somebody did a Moonscript thing. But I would probably just do it in Lua for now, you know, because that's like where it's going. That's where most of the tutorials are going to be. That's where most of the code support's going to be. I would just do everything in Lua because it's just easier. There's just going to be more documentation for it. There's just going to be more help for it. You might show up one day with like this big ass Moonscript repo and it'll be cool. But like if someone wants to hack on it, if someone wants to do all these other things, then like it may not be their first choice, and then also it's not going to be as easy for you to like, you know, translate between things. I guess Moonscript's even easier to write than Lua, I think, but I guess I don't know enough about it. Yeah, same lines, maybe a loop but more readable. I don't know, maybe. Up until earlier this week, I'd been using by hand install Vim LSP. Your video on getting started with COC was enormously helpful to simplify my setup. Yeah, so I still, you know, if people want to use COC, you know, go ahead and use COC. COC is still, you know, a good ecosystem. It's just that, like, anymore, I've really been trying to break out of a lot of different ecosystems, you know, whether it be anything, you know, whether it be COC's ecosystem all the way up to, like, Apple's ecosystem. I don't want to be in it anymore, you know. People use Fennel. Lisp to Lua, but not Moonscript. I don't know what Fennel is. See, I just write it in Lua. I don't need like tools and all these things. Just write it in Lua. We were gonna look at compy. Yeah, so yeah, like these are the sources. So where here is like that symbol map thing that I had. Maybe if I check in issues and if I look at kind, blah, 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 broke fence code or of appearance and source setup. No longer auto-suggest, can't be breaking files, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Wait. Add kind mapping. Thank you for your contribution. I think it's features unnecessary. We already have that literal plugin. I'm considering adding support by MVim Compy itself, but it still needs more time. Works out of the box. It does work out of the box. That's why I did like it. I think the ideal solution is the following. I don't think it supports it. I don't think it does it. I don't think it does support it because this branch is not even merged. It's open and it has conflicts. So I don't know. Maybe there's some other branch. Let's see. Yeah, look up for Vim 9. Might be interesting competition for NVim 0.5 when it's stable. I don't think it'll be competition at all, to be quite honest with you. I think there's going to be some regular Vim holdout guys, but Neovim is the future, you know? The Vim 9 might be great. And you know what? Vim 9 would have been awesome 7 years ago, you know? Is knowing Lua required for configuring MV code, or does it come configured on the main release? If so, where would you recommend learning Lua? I would just learn Lua. I think TJ DeVries is gonna do like a Lua thing, like a whole thing where he's gonna like teach you Lua from scratch. At least he said he was thinking about doing that. He doesn't have that yet, so I would just look up like YouTube videos, and then if you just literally read through like my config, you'll learn at least a couple things about Lua. You'll learn like simple if statements. You'll learn, you know, some of like how tables work. You just go figure out, honestly, you want to learn Lua, go figure out what a table is in Lua. You'll learn everything you need to know. All the other programming concepts you probably already know if you're a programmer. You just need to know that Lua is like, it centers around tables, this concept of tables, right? At least that's my understanding, and it's gotten me this far, so whatever. In terms of needing to know Lua for my config, you're going to need to know enough to configure this file for the most part that is still undone and very much in beta. So, like, you'll need to know how to come in here, and I have O as the global options object, and you'll just do dot or table. Is it a table? It is a table. And, you know, choose your color scheme and then say, like, is equal to thing, right? So you'll need to be able to at least do that, at, like, bare minimum, right? To set this file up, but that's kind of in the future anyway. I used the head branch. I used the head branch for what? What do you use the head branch for? I'll check it out, but you have to remind me what we were talking about. Compy, what? They have like a head branch that's doing something with LSP kind. Look up for the 1 hour video on Derek Bonas. It's pretty good. Yeah, check out Derek Bonas. He's always good for learning stuff. I learned Java from Derek Bonas. Like I learned all the basic Java that I know from Derek Bonas. And a small book from Head First Java, I think. That's not a small book, but that was a book that I read a lot of. Only major wart in Lua is that array indexing starts from 1 and 0. Yeah, I did a lot of MATLAB in college, so it doesn't bother me that much. But yeah, I'd rather it start at 0. There's no way Vim 9 can compete with Neovim and its Lua integration. It's just insane the extensibility Lua adds to Neovim. Yeah, it's, you know, it's crazy. Like, people don't even realize what's happening right now with all the Lua integrations and everybody building all this Lua stuff, right? Is your system Arch Linux? If yes, why do you like it? The system is Arch Linux. I like it because I can flex. I'm an internet nerd who can now flex on other internet nerds. The NVim Compy head branch. Okay. Well, maybe I'll wait until that feature gets into... Maybe I'll wait until this feature gets into master. You know? Got a lot of stuff happening here. I'll probably wait till it gets into master. padding and a bunch of improvements 17 days ago. Yeah. You know what really was a pain is setting that stuff up with like auto pairs and stuff. Is Neovim LSP faster than COC? I haven't done any benchmarks, but I would say that it's... I mean, COC was fast for me, to be quite honest. But here's the thing. You know, it probably will be. That's just like all I can really say right now. It's definitely not as featureful right now. Or as easy to configure. Definitely not as easy to configure at all. But it's worth making the investment in my personal opinion. You'll have one way to configure everything. All the plugins will be in Lua most likely in the future. Most of the support in the future is going to be on the plugins. I don't know how big the COC team is, but all of the open source developers that used to do things like Vim script and all those zombie plugins and stuff like that that existed before, they're all going to get facelifts in Lua. And I think that's mainly where the community is going to go. And I can't see it being slower than TypeScript and JavaScript and stuff, right? Which is mostly what COC's done in. But COC, again, has lots of good features and is still totally valid to use if you need to use it for whatever, you know. I'm probably one of the only people that's even taken my config this far. It's like me and the other people that even know Neovim 0.5 is a thing, which is like, I guess, the rest of you guys. Let's see. So what were we doing? Oh yeah, we were going through some of the plugins and we were deciding what was on the chopping block, right? Quickscope is you might get replaced later. You might, you know, Hop may replace you. And we're gonna keep this, but Telescope may fully replace you. As soon as I figure out how to get Telescope to basically just like, I'm trying to think. I mean, is there any good reason to use it? I don't know. I'm not getting rid of Witch Key. Somebody has a Witch Key Lua wrapper, and I want to use that. Better Quick Fix is actually awesome. How do I use Better Quick Fix? Go to Reference maybe? Yeah, and then jump down here, and you can see all this. This is great. This is by the same guy who made RMVimR. And so I love this. This is great, especially looking outside of the... I mean, I'm already in this file, so it's not super helpful, but if I was outside of the file, that would be really helpful. Dashboard, although there is a bug in it. I don't know if Vimrouter really gets me a lot, but I'm going to hold on to it. Kodi I like. I don't really use Smoothie that much, but Smoothie is good stuff. But I think we're going to remove Smoothie for now. It also is done in Vim script. BBuy we might be able to get rid of because I remember talking to the guy from Bar, and I think he has it like built in. So if I can do, let's start a new, all right, we saved this. Let's do Packer update. I feel like that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Let's save this, quit, yes. I probably could have just done Lua file on the thing that I was on. Save, but whatever. Recently used files, plugins, sure. I kind of want, I'm going to take these comments though. I don't want them to be green. I'm going to put them as like gray so that they're kind of out of the way because this green is a little too much. Then again, ideally, you should never comment your code. At least not that much at all. I think this is valid, but for the most part, yeah. Let's see. So, what was I doing? Oh yeah, Packer update, and we're getting rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plugins. Yes. We ideally want to get it down into like the 40s, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Let me change that color scheme back because this one's not really done yet. Okay, that's the wrong thing. Oh yeah, it's an MV settings. MV code. Save. What I should be able to do is I should be able to do like Lua file this, and then jump over to color scheme, and then do the same thing. And then it should, yeah. There we go. All right. Are you familiar with Emacs at all? So here's what I know about Emacs. Again, I talked about System Crafters. He does cool Emacs stuff, like all the Emacs stuff you'd probably need. Now, you can see that back in the day, if we go through my repositories, Emacs, I did have an Emacs config. I had a very extensive Emacs config that did all kinds of shit. But then it started, I don't even, like, I barely remember this. I did this 3 years ago. And I had this when I worked at Lockheed. I used this. And that was around the same time that I switched to Vim and then Neovim, like not shortly after that I switched to Vim. And then I guess the rest, you know, is mostly history. So let's see, that's my Emacs stuff. Are you familiar with Emacs at all? If so, what can you say about the present Lua and Neovim in comparison to Emacs lifts for... Yeah, it's like Lua is basically lifts for Neovim. That's the easy way to think about it. At the risk of repeating an earlier question, what's your window manager? It looks like i3. This is i3, but I'm probably going to switch to DWM soon for more internet points. LSP being built in is a big pro in my opinion. Yeah, it's definitely a huge pro. Neovim LSP versus COC benchmarks. I saw YouTube. Is this how we're spelling YouTube? Video on the other night where a guy tried to measure exactly that. Native LSP appeared much snappier. Well, that's good because that's what I'm going with from now on. Those different desktops in the left corner are from what? Desktop environment or something? That's i3. It's just a window manager. This is Polybar, and you can kind of just, you know, go around, do whatever you want. Have you tried any Emacs variant? Yeah, I tried to do Emacs for like a second, but then I don't use Emacs, so you know, nothing against Emacs. Emacs and Neovim are the only text editors you really should be using. Atom was a good choice back in the day, but these are all Electron editors, and I don't really, you know, really support Electron editors. I don't think everything needs to be written in JavaScript, right? Like, I think some things can be written in C and Lua and be just fine, right? I think way too many web devs were unleashed upon the world because they were good at creating websites, and then they were just like, well, I don't want to learn a new language, so how do I do every single last thing in JavaScript? But I've ranted about this before. Do you use command and nvim to commit and push code to Git? I use LazyGit because it's the easiest thing for me to use. It's my favorite thing to use. I love LazyGit. I can use it inside Vim or outside Vim. So like that's the best part about it. Like if I'm not in Vim and I want to push code, I can still use LazyGit. So it's the same tool. So if like I want to use Fugitive, I mean that's fine, or NeoGit or whatever. But I can just use LazyGit, and I can, again, I don't have to be inside Vim to do it, but I can be inside Vim to do it because I have flow term. Why do I prefer uncommented code? I believe that your code should be written in such small functions and be named so well that it should be self-documenting, and I'm not memeing that. I actually believe that. I'm not joking about that at all. Comments, you know what I see? People who write comments typically is like, look, you look through a lot of my config here. Like for instance, I have comments when I'm working on things, right? Like a couple things, and especially for config things. But let's see, like, let's go take a look at Galaxy Line, right? So there's like 3 comments in here. Like this object is called colors, and it has all the colors in it, and you don't need to comment that, right? And then if you go down to these pieces, this thing says, okay, like first this one up here says left 1. Okay, so this is the leftmost first thing. Okay, great. I don't need to comment anything about that. This thing, why does this need a comment? It is what it says it is. It doesn't need a comment. If you write code good enough, you typically don't need comments, right? So it's just like, okay, this thing is on the left. It's the second element. What is it? It's a get icon. The provider is what? It's a custom function. What does it return? This thing right here. Why would I need a comment to tell me that? Condition? Well, the condition that check if it's a get workspace. So is it a get workspace? The condition is then true. So then this thing shows up. If it's not, it will not be here, right? A separator. Wonder what a separator does. It goes on the either side of it, right? Like you'll see there are no comments here because there does not need to be comments if you can just read through the code and understand what it does. And this works very well with like functional code and things like that. If I ever see somebody write a method that's like an entire page long, like you'll never make it through code review with me, you know? Like I refuse. That's what I mean. I'm not joking about that. I really don't believe you should be writing comments that often. Like comments should be for serious, only in dire circumstances. Thank you for answering my question. I have one more question. Vim plus Tmux is slow on my Mac and really fast on a Linux system. Yeah, you shouldn't be using Macs. Get away from a Mac. It's logging everything you do. I'm getting rid of my Mac. Get a System 76. That's what I'm getting. The Lemur Pro. My history in NVim world was that I used it in 2017 for dot files before getting a real job as a web developer. Then I couldn't feel it was really an IDE. So this is the thing. Okay, a lot of people think that like it's like the same thing as the Linux desktop, right? Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be the year of the Linux desktop. No, it's not. It's never going to be the year of the Linux desktop. Problem is that people think that, you know how the year of the Linux desktop comes? When you start shilling hardware that Linux is already installed on. No one is ever going to get a USB drive. A normie person is never going to go get a USB drive and stick it in their computer like, oh, I want to go try out this flavor of Linux. It's never going to happen. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. It's going to need to be installed on hardware. Here's the other thing. No one is ever going to switch to Neovim, not a giant group of people, unless they have all the features that like they can see, oh, okay, I can get all these features. I can have the autocomplete. I can have format. I can have linting. I can have, you know, all the stuff that the LSP stuff brings. I can have diagnostics. I can have all these things, right? And it's real easy for me. You think I want to spend, you know, months and months and months and months configuring this stuff? No, right? Nobody is going to really want to do that. And so everybody, if you don't, you know, be the change you want to see there, then everybody's just going to use the easy thing. They're going to use VS Code. They're going to use IntelliJ. They're going, God forbid, IntelliJ for everything. I see people edit YAML files in IntelliJ, and text files, readmes in IntelliJ. It's like, dude. So, you know, that's just like the way I think about it, right? Like you're not gonna, like that's why I'm siphoning people away from, hopefully from VS Code into something like this, so that your editor isn't sending telemetry data to Bill, you know, constantly, everything you type. So then you move to VS Code, exactly, because why wouldn't you? It has all the features. It's so freaking easy, and everybody else is using it, and it does all the things you want it to do, right? How do I get 2 windows on Ubuntu? I don't know. This stuff is not exclusive to Arch Linux. You can install i3WM on Ubuntu, so try that. Nowadays, NVim with all the Lua extensibility is just wow. You can even compare Vim with NVim anymore. It's just, yeah, it's on a totally different level with the new Lua stuff. And when it's all properly set up, it can compete with VS Code, right? Like it really can. It can compete. It's not at VS Code's level for a lot of the things that VS Code does. But then again, VS Code is not at Neovim's level for the text editing part, right? And the speed and all that other kind of stuff, right? i3 is not working on Ubuntu. It definitely works on Ubuntu. What would be the best way to share a Neovim config between all users on a machine? You could, I don't know. I would just track it with Git and then just put it in everybody's user thing and then just give them their own MV settings thing like how I have here so they can turn on and off what they want personally. That's how I would do it. Could you show Vimrouter plugin? I don't know how to use it. It should just automatically switch you to current directories, but I haven't noticed that it's been that useful lately. I'm not sure that it's really that great. I'm going to look into seeing... There was a time when I needed it for something, but now I forget why. I agree with you. There's nothing you should be looking beyond Vim and Emacs with all respect towards your personal taste. Most tools provided by IDEs are barely used while being a big-ass program. Yeah, they're just bloated. They're heavy. Dude, IntelliJ, you have to like pay for it, and there's like a community edition and a paid edition. There's like a subscription. Imagine subscribing to your text editor, dude. Get out of here with that. Like, no. I'd rather see like just more open source developers working on interesting stuff outside of all that would be better. I'd rather see a longer variable or function name than comments. Yes, I would too. Unless your function is this, you know what I hate? Somebody will write a function that's like, you know, do this. Well, we'll do like, because it's usually in Java, and that. And I'm like, how about you just write a function called do this, and then another function called do that. Right? And then just call one right after the other and pass the output of this one like into this one or something if you need to, right? Like small composability, small functions, that's the way to go. Small and composable, right? Composable is the kind of the operative word there. Is there any way to enable spell checker? Yeah. You can enable spell. So how you enable spell, how I enable spell on readmes. So like if I come over here and we open this guy up and I start typing like destinate, whatever, that's a spelling word, destiny at, whatever. You can see like it's trying to give me those words. So how you do that is, how I do it is I have an auto command. So let's close this guy and let's come over here. Okay, we're not behaving. So how I do that is under MV, nope, it's up here. Under auto commands, I have a, let's close this. I have a group for Markdown. And in that Markdown group, in this define auto commands function, which we can jump, should be able to jump to. Can we not jump to this function? Lua, you used to be able to do this. For sure. I remember I could do this. Anyway, let's go look over here where that function is. I know where it is, luckily. It's right here. Define AU groups. Right? And so you can call this function here. Someone gave this to me. And you can pass like, you know, an auto command. And so the auto command that I do for Markdown is, okay, file type, if it's Markdown, set local to wrap, because I like wrap for Markdown, like when I'm writing. I don't want it to like go off the page like how you see right now. But I don't like when code wraps. I think that's annoying. File type, Markdown, set local, spell. And this will set local spell for that. So like even if I wanted to right now, I could do like set local spell. And now I got to deal with this nightmare. So you don't want it in code, right? I don't know. Can you do like no spell? Yep, there you go. Super simple. Sometimes comments apply when code has business yeah, there's times. There's definitely times. But for the most part, we try to not write them. We try to write code that's self-documenting. I know that sounds like a meme, but it's really not. Do you have any idea about how to increase... One second, let me jump over here to this thing. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any idea about how to increase color saturation in Arch Linux or Linux in general? I couldn't find any valid solution on the internet. Are you sure your monitor's up to par? Maybe it's that. I don't know. Other than that, I would try and do it from my monitor. Is vaping degenerate? Vaping is less degenerate than smoking cigarettes. But most Zoomers are extremely degenerate, and I hate these Zoomers with their curly haircuts and their stupid TikTok faces and their vape pens. So maybe smoking cigarettes is still cooler than vaping, but vaping, I support vaping over smoking cigarettes, I guess. I don't do either. Is there any way to keep MVim tree unwrap after toggle? Every time I toggle it, it collapses. I think mine doesn't do that. Does it? No, mine doesn't do that. See, I go like that, and it's still unwrapped. I guess you were calling it unwrapped. So what I recommend you do is just probably take my config here, or at least take the piece that does that. Not that I know which piece that is. Let's come over here, see this. It's gotta be one of these, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know why yours wraps if that's what you're talking about. I really like in NVim thing that it's almost nothing where I can configure everything myself from scratch. Yeah, so some people like that, right? Some people really, and I like that obviously. Some people like to hack around on things. But I feel like we sometimes have a duty to take our, you know, go help our normie brethren get out of the machine, right? Like pull them away from the machine, right? Like, for instance, like if you're going to use VS Code, use VS Codium, right? I'd like for my config, if I had enough time, if I didn't have a full-time job, you know, for it to compete with VS Code. I legitimately think so far this thing can at least compete with VS Code. It's not going to, you know, do everything and every last stupid thing. There's still going to be... there's still going to be some level of configuration and extra configuration you're going to have to do, but if you're sufficiently motivated, you know, I write Java with this thing all the time, so that's saying something. How do you code big projects in Java? Just like this. I literally open them up in Neovim and then I start coding them. I don't know. Usually big projects, a lot of people think like you start like big projects from scratch a lot. Usually like, I don't know, I do a lot of Spring Boot. So it's like, typically I'll just use Spring Initializer. It'll give me all the bones, all the things, all the Gradle, all the nonsense that you need. And then you already have it. And then you just make all the files you need and you're, you know, it's not hard. How do you, yeah, that was exactly my point. Now I just use NVim as my daily editor for more than a year. So never touch VS Code again. Yeah, see, and that's great. That's, you know, that's what we're aiming for. Could MV Code have some auto-routed import statements for React components in a TSX file, for example? Doesn't it already do that? Like, if I come in here and do this. Okay, we're complaining about NeoGit. Well, I just got rid of a bunch of stuff. So let's just use this instance and not close it for a little bit. Recently used files, header.jsx. And if I do something like, what's a thing that I can import? Use, well, hey, TSS server's not activated. That sucks because now, 1 second. Let's see if we can, we'll do this. Okay, what line? Config mv neogit. Okay, so that means I'm just pulling it in over here. Excuse me. This is not where I want to be. Means I'm pulling it in here. Neogit, yeah. That's that. I don't know if I'm doing any of these other ones. We're gonna find out in a second. There you go. So now if we do this, and if we do header, and then we come over here, and then we come down here, and then we do use. Hey, you were supposed to come in. Let's do FA. See, there was a time when I had this working. How about if I do, let's see. I think if I do it like in here. This is funny because it works in what you call it? I've even had this working in JSX before, but like I'm pretty sure I had it working in Python. Watch this. Nvim thing.py. Okay, py writes here. Default dict. There you go. See? Comes down. So I don't know why it's not working in JSX. I have no idea. By the way, default dicts are awesome. These things do cool stuff, and I think they're almost like a table in Lua. All right, so they're good for counting things if you're doing like algorithms. Exactly my point. Yep, no VS Code. Do this and that. There may be locks, mutexes involved under the hood. Comments would tell you that. Yeah, maybe. And that's the thing. If you have wacky shit like locks and mutexes, sure, right? But I'm saying that obviously wasn't my point, right? My point is like if you have some simple function, if you have some simple functions where it's literally this and that, right? Like super simple. My point is that like literally they're just manipulating data. They're not, there's no multi-threading, there's no craziness. It's just that. And then you have this, and then you have like this function that does this and that. No, absolutely not. We learn from you, bro. Please do great videos for beginners. I will do those in the future. Should I put a heart Neovim on a job application or CV? My config's on my resume, so, but I feel like it might be different. I don't know. Like I feel like I had to put it on there. Could you show Markdown Preview? Yeah, why not? So I don't think do I even have anything? I don't think I even configured anything for it. So it just works, which is nice. That's why I keep that one around. So Markdown Preview, there you go. It's by IM Co. And you just put this. It needs to npm install itself. It is, JavaScript, but I don't necessarily hate JavaScript. I just don't think it needs to be literally everywhere. And I write JavaScript every now and then. I have a job. I'm a full-time programmer. There's times when JavaScript is the right tool for the job, right? In this case, I think it probably is because it's doing something web-related. Because you can't necessarily have you can't preview Markdown in Neovim, especially with like inline images and stuff. So what I do for this is I just press space, and you don't have to do this, but you could just do Markdown. Actually, I forget what it's called. So I'm gonna have to, well, you know what we can do? We can just come over here. And we can do Vim script. This is where I still keep which key is in Vim script. And it's in capital M, so Markdown Preview toggle. Mark. Interesting. Well, this isn't a Markdown file, so maybe start with that. There you go. Now, it just happened off screen. Wow, this looks great. So let's do that. Let's come over here. We made our point with this. Where are we? Thing.py. We made our point with that, and there you go. This is Markdown Preview. You can see, like, how cool is that? This is useful, like I write a lot of Markdown, and this really helps me visualize it. It's funny. You know what would be good for this? There's a thing that like I think constantly keeps like you in the middle, like keeps the cursor in the middle and then like scrolls the file up and down. That would be a good thing to like activate while you're in here, because you could see like my cursor's here. I don't know. This is here. I don't know. Anyway, it's good enough though, right? Like if I start to add something under useful like this one now, it's like 1-to-1 and it's good. But I'd say it's good enough. I don't really have that many complaints about it. I'm mostly happy with it. I'm currently using Mac, but want to have a laptop with Linux. The problem is I see many videos about Linux compatibility with some hardware. Any thoughts on that? System 76, no keyboard in my country. Yeah, that sucks. What country do you live in? Maybe you could use something like, I think Star Labs has them too. And I don't know about Purism, but try them out. But there's other regular, even a Dell is better than a Mac, man. And just put Linux on it and just like enjoy a little bit more freedom, dude, because Mac is literally inking everything, man. Like we got to break out of these ecosystems, dude. It's, everybody's like anything convenient anymore. And it's just, I took your config and still do that. I just reinstall it. Yeah, sure. No problem. Many color themes are intentionally low contrast. Selecting an alternate theme might help. Oh yeah, you're telling the guy about, yeah, I agree. A theme might help too, yeah. It would be nice to have a spell checker for each language. There is a plugin for this in VS Code. I don't really need a spell checker for my code. I just don't need that. There's some things that I don't need, right? I also switched to NVim. Like, that's not going to be the deal breaker. I'm like, well, you know, I can't leave VS Code because I can't spell check functions in Python. I also switched to NVim about 3 weeks ago after finding your channel and feel absolutely no compulsion ever open VS Code again. Awesome. See, this is what we're going for. Trying to win hearts and minds out here. Hey, I started to use NVim a year ago as something interesting to learn. Now I can't use any other key bindings. Yeah, man, like once you're in, like you can't edit text any other way, you know? Like when you come in here and you can do things like, imagine not being able to like, okay, I want to change this word right here, right? Like languages. Imagine not being able to just CW and then start typing. How do people even do it? Like imagine not being able to just like kill this line like really fast. Just D, right? Or just capital D, right? Like imagine not being able to jump to the end of this line really fast and append text, and then just press U to get rid of it. And then if you wanted to put text in the beginning, just press capital I. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It's just like you don't even need to know all of like motions and insane bindings and counting and all that kind of stuff. Just like those simple commands right there, I can't live without anymore. Like all writers should know Vim. Like if you're a guy who like writes books, learn Vim before you even learn how to write good, and you'll just produce content. You'll produce way more content than most people. Channel's awesome. Thanks, man. Trying to post more content onto it. Definitely more live streams lately, but we'll see where it goes. It imported the type default tick, though, not the object from collections. That's a good point. It did do that, didn't it? Why did it do that? That's a good point. I didn't even really, because I didn't play with it. That's a good-ass point. I don't know. Yeah. I have complaints about that. We'll have to think about how to handle that in the future. Or maybe we can say something. I've had excellent luck with ThinkPads. My current laptop is a 6-year-old ThinkPad X1 Carbon, and installing Debian testing was absolutely no trouble at all. I used to use Debian testing. I used to use Debian SID. I guess they have like what, a Toy Story naming convention over there. But yeah, I used to use SID. I used to use like, and then I was like, because I want a rolling release, but I wanted to, because I was coming from Ubuntu, and I wanted to use a rolling release because all the cool Arch kids had rolling releases, but I wanted to stay with my package manager. So I was like, all right, Debian testing, and then I was like, move me on to SID, and then eventually I just moved over to Arch Linux. Yeah, maybe I'll set local scroll off 999 for Markdown. Maybe, we'll see. Go Neovim should have built-in Markdown Preview, but no idea how to activate this. Yeah, I have Go Neovim. I have other issues with Go Neovim though. I think I like Neovide the best for a GUI on top of Neovim. Have you ever tried to tell an Apple girl about why Linux is better? An Apple girl? Can you imagine talking to a girl about Linux? Mind you, the ThinkPads that best compatibility are the TP and X series machines. Yeah. Maybe I should get a ThinkPad one day. I don't know. They don't have the whole draw to System 76 is the core boot thing. So I don't know if you can core boot or Libre boot the newer ThinkPads. You know, VS Code nowadays has nothing on NVim. It has few things on NVim. It has JUnit tests, for instance. You can kind of do that in Vim now, but it's a huge pain in the ass. It has one-click compatibility. So like if I just click install language, it just handles it. It's going to be hard, but like you're obviously not going to get the average normie over to Neovim. But you'll get a few normie curious people over. And, hopefully a few of them will make it on to the arc before you get VS Code implanted in the contacts in your eyes, and then you just have to code with your eyeballs all day in C#. Yeah, actually, I'm looking at those for a while, but I don't know. Use laptops? What, you don't really use laptops? I would use my laptop. I want to use, like, I'm not saying I don't give a shit about like Elon Musk and like, you know, the whole I love science crowd, but I think Starlink is a cool idea. I want to be able to take like my laptop outside and just it's probably not bad. It's probably not good for me to like, I don't know if like what they're broadcasting down to like give you internet everywhere, but I guess LTE is already doing this, so what the hell does it matter? But I'd like to be able to go like anywhere with my laptop and then just like work on things, I guess. Discord community is awesome. Yeah, Discord community is pretty cool, but again, Microsoft is buying Discord, so awesome, great. Let's see. Syncing to SID unstable is exactly my setup. Yeah, SID is pretty cool. How do I use Vim keys on Discord? Yeah, I have no idea. I wish I knew, because I would totally do it. I don't think there's like a Vim plugin for Discord, though. Alright. We're going to remove this, because that's what we were doing. And I think that was the only one that I had configured in here, but I just answered a bunch of questions instead of doing what I came here to do, which was purge some things. This is useful for me. Built-in marks, I feel like I can't delete them ever. And that's kind of my issue with the built-in marks right now. Mini yank, I don't really see myself needing this. I'm just going to take it and put it down here because sometimes I think something like that could be interesting. Far is another one I just don't think I need. I'm not really too versed at doing like project-wide find and replace, but I kind of want to learn that better. I can do like replace here, like if I do like there's this article out there that like really helped me learn find and replace better, or search and replace in Vim. So if like we search for use, I've showed this before, and if I do something like cgn on it and then type like foo and then do like dot, I can like keep doing it, right? And then you could like hop over one and then start doing it again, right? Now the reason you want to do something like that in Vim is because imagine that you change this to like foo and then you like go like this, and like even if you did this, you'd still have to like, you know, paste over top of the word, but the second that you did that, you would have use again in there, so we wouldn't want that. Let's redo this. Yeah. Vista, I don't think Vista is necessarily useful, honestly. It's just not something I really need. And we're trying to cut down. We're trying to slim things down a little bit here. Dial I actually like. Dial is something, because I go into this MV setting so often and I can just do Control A and just swap it between true and false so fast. And that alone is worth it. You know? Just when I'm toggling settings. You can use Vim keys in basically everything. Can you use them in Discord? Could you live without a phone if you had an 8-inch laptop and Starlink? Hell yeah. I definitely could. I don't use my phone for shit, man. I could totally do that. An 8-inch laptop? Yeah. I'd have like a backpack. If it had like a 24-hour battery life too, definitely. Does multi-cursor available in NV code? No, it isn't. There is a plugin out there to do it. There's other ways, I think, to get something like multi-cursor working. I just don't really need it for anything, I guess. I would just say, like, you know, go get it if you need it. I'm not saying I don't want a laptop. I was talking about second-hand laptops. Oh, ThinkPads. I get the draw to ThinkPads because it's like you can Libre boot them and stuff. And this is the thing. Like, where do you personally draw the line for your tech tracking every single last thing you do? Where do you draw that line? Do you draw it with VS Code? Do you draw it with Mac? Is that worth it? Is it worth it for your phone to listen to every single last thing you say? Is it worth it to have an Echo in your house? You might as well have an Echo in your house. Why not, right? Like an Amazon Echo and a Google Speech thing or whatever. You know, have all this shit and it can listen to you all day. And then do you want everything you search to be, you know, poured over and then like they just sell you shit? Like the advertisement machine just comes back and goes, hey, I just saw you bought boots. Do you also want socks? And then like you just, you know, you consume and consume and consume and consume. And then more and more data is just harvested off you to create more consumers. It's just like, dude, you got to break that wheel eventually. My humble opinion, the most annoying part about shopping is finding out display resolution. Too many just say 14 inches rather than... Yeah, I mean, obviously you'd want that. I don't have a ThinkPad, but I can imagine if I was going for one that I would want to know the freaking display. And I think 1080p should be standard now. You should not have a display less than 1080p in my personal opinion. I'm trying to run Neovim, but it gives me this problem. Environment variable to display a backtrace. What kind of laptop are you running it on? Because it works fine on... I think it works fine on here. There you go. We're in Neovim now. Neovim is pretty smooth too. Like, just the typing. Oh man, it's like butter, dude. You know, like it just kind of like it just slides in there. I'm still a little salty that, like, if I do this, I feel like that should import it. It's kind of bullshit that it doesn't. But yeah, you get this comfy cursor. I don't know if you can change the colors for like underlines. I mean, that obviously needs to be red, but I don't know why this would need to be red. But like you can see like the context, right? I mean, I already have that with highlight, but whatever. It's just handsome. I don't know. 8-inch laptop. That's not a laptop. That's a cyber deck. I'm trying to think about how big an 8-inch laptop could be because 11-inch is pretty small. But I think it could happen. But the keyboard might not be that enjoyable. Problem is trusting that it's in good shape. Yeah, like what if someone was like mining Bitcoin on it for like 2 years? I just got here. How did you do that? How did I do what? Oh, the cursor being smooth? Look at me clicking because my keyboard's so far away from me right now. This is Neovim. So we could close it. I won't use the hotkey. Neovim. I also have Go Neovim. Which one thing I do like about it is this looks cooler to me for some reason. Like I want this. But I think that's to do with the font. But then it cuts off my glyph things here. And the text is a little darker, but that's not a big deal. But the spacing's wider. I think it just has to do with the font. But why doesn't it pick up my GUI font? You know, and see how like that's kind of cut off or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so then we'll do Neovim. This is where the comfy cursor was happening. All right. There you go. And Neovim, we can just like shoot down there, shoot over here, back and forth, like that. And then we can do like this, do this. It's like a finger workout. And you don't have to feel bad about having this GUI because it's written in Rust, which is performant, and it makes sense, right? To have something like this being written in Rust. See, it even picks up on like that. Anyway, this is kind of cool. It has different ones too. I didn't realize like how much fun I would have literally just doing this. Anyway. Yeah, but it's just kind of neat, right? And then the really smooth part is like if I start typing, see how it just like floats in there, you know? Anyway. That's when you have to pay close attention to the seller's reputation, yeah, for the ThinkPad. Cursor being smooth. Is it possible to make the background transparent? For Neovim, yes. It is possible to do that. But I don't do that because I think anyone who's writing code with a transparent background and then you can see like, I don't know, like this. See how it's kind of transparent with this? I don't know if you can see. Probably can. This even would probably be too much for me. I don't need all of this extra stuff while I'm typing. So I have my compositor to say whenever NVim, or not Neovim because it's not a terminal, but whenever NVim is active, to just darken the terminal and turn off transparency. Yeah, that cursor's awesome, isn't it? Alright, so let's just go finish up some of this stuff with the plugins. Smoothie is going to be in the graveyard. Let's see what we got. We want to have our auto pairs. Bookmarks, this is useful to me, kind of. I know it sounds crazy, but like the regular marks in Vim just don't really cut it for me. And then like visually too, I like having a visual marker for some reason. And like if I do something like mark and then like toggle and then I put one there, and then if you're in like a long file and like I have some of those at work, like I have really long files, and then if I toggle one here, mark toggle, and then if I like do mark J, I'll just go back here, and then it's like I don't need to remember the line number I was on or anything. I just mark K and jump right back up there. So that's too useful for me, I think, to get rid of. I work in like these pipeline files, they're YAML files. They're like thousands of lines long, or not thousands, but at least 1,000 sometimes lines long. And that's useful for me to like remember where I was. I know you can do Control O and stuff too while you're in there, but it's, I don't know. It's what I'm used to at this point. Where was I? Search text use. No. Search text packer. What? Where am I? Oh, it's because I'm in this and I'm not in Lua anymore. Search text. Now if I search for use. There we go. Yeah, so that's that. Matchup? I know Matchup does something. I think Matchup, it's pretty cool because it does things for like if-else statements and all that kind of stuff. Dial, I show why I'm keeping that. Float term is good for this, and I don't care. Literally just for lazy git, I'm keeping it. bbuy is on the chopping block. I have to think if bar handles that natively because I think it has it built in or something. Or like grab the code. The rest of this I will keep for now. I think it's sufficiently cleaned up. I've seen people with more plugins, to be honest. Let's take this, jump down here, put them there. But we could go see if bar has that stuff included or not. How do you integrate LazyGit inside Neovim? Check out my float term video. That will do it. Yeah, boy. Sure. Little dab emoji guy. Your Lua language server is okay. Mine is consuming 100% CPU. What do I have? This? Well, I'm streaming to 2 different platforms right now, too. So there's that. We could see how much CPU usage Lua is using. So why don't we go close this down. what's happened in here. Has anything important happened? Okay, well, that's... Oh, yeah, well, we definitely don't want that. Okie doke. Oops. Let's just do this. Just quit it then. Alright. Now, this is Neovim. We'll close that. I don't even know what this is. This one. Okay, all of my Vim stuff is closed. So the Lua language server is not really using my CPU at all. So there you go. I rather wish LSP would use the tag stack rather than the cursor location jump history. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I'd rather it just use the tag stack as well, because then it would be more like moving through your LSP rather than like where your cursors jump to. So like hop.mvim would pollute that, or like even searching, I guess, would pollute it. I just installed MV Code. Really excited to try it out. One small issue because my default shell is fish. Oh no. Wait, why? Are we doing this fish meme again? I needed to add one line in init.lua to fix it. Open to PR. All right, if it's one line and it's not hurting anything, I don't care. I'll support it. My Emacs config, by the way, if anyone is interested. I'm not anti-Emacs. I'm pro Vim and Emacs, and obviously Neovim. What the hell am I doing? Oh yeah, looking at your PR. This might be controversial, especially lately. Why is your default shell? Why is it fish? Why is it not something else? Maybe we'll do that. I'll have to get input from the community. I like your Vim. How can I install it? Hopefully in one command, but we'll see. You might run into some pain. Very cool. Yeah. When using Telescope with FZY, it's awesome, but sometimes I can't see other files, but it's fine. Okay, fair enough. I haven't used FZY yet. I was thinking about using it in the future. Does anyone know how to find dot files in Telescope or FZF? Why don't I move up to Gen 2? Look, I'm about to swap into DWM soon. I'm gonna probably do some live streams because I'm a little bored of Vim now. I've done a lot of Vim. Aha, dude. Don't challenge me to use Gen 2, all right? Because I will do it just for internet points. Is there anything more elite than Gen 2 besides like Linux from scratch, which I'm not doing? I would do Gen 2, but then I don't have the AUR anymore. I like the AUR because it makes my life easy. I don't know, man. You're going to have to really come up with a good reason for me to leave Arch Linux. Other than your grandma uses it. That's close. That almost got you there. That almost got me to switch. But I am going to do DWM first. After DWM, I may swap out one last time my Linux distribution. Honestly, though, I'm just going to switch over to FreeBSD, though. And if everything just works over there, then I'll be on BSD, and then my grandma uses Arch. What about BSD? If I switch over to BSD, would that be cool? Will I win brownie points then? But yeah, maybe Gen 2, maybe Void. It's going to be hard to get me off of Arch, though. But maybe BSD, we'll see. What resource monitor was that? It was called YTop, I think, or GoTop. YTop or GoTop. YTop or GoTop. You can go check out my dot files and look at my i3 config, and that will tell you what resource monitor that was. First Telescope is better than FZF. Yes, it is. But then you could just pass hidden true to the function call. Yeah, you can do that. Being a Lua guy, did you ever look at Awesome WM? I looked at Awesome WM, but what I like about DWM is that it's very elite. It's written in C, and elite in the sense that there are elitist people that I can look down my nose at people. I guess is the reason to use it, right? No, but the reason I really want to use it is because I never really have a good reason to write C anymore, and I miss writing C. And also, I can keep it with me. It's mine. There's no like binary distribution of DWM, right? It's not like you can just install DWM. So like I would have to pull it down and do all that stuff. I don't care if I have to make it or whatever. That's totally fine. That's, you know, something I'm considering doing. What resource? Yeah, we talked about it. Everyone keeps telling me that setting up Arch has no sound. Does it really have no sound? Are you lying to me? 1 second. Comments. Imagine I uploaded that video without any sound. Installing Arch or setting up Arch? Analytics, comments, content. 1 second. I'm not going to find it here very easily. I have what to do after installing Arch Linux. Playlist, hold up. Let me go look at my Arch playlist. Which one? The first one?
What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be installing Arch Linux.
That has sound.
Before we get started, I wanted to... In this video, we're going to be talking about what to do after installing Arch Linux. So,
that one has sound.
In this video, we're going to be talking about installing packages.
That one has sound.
In this video, we're going to be setting up and configuring i3. So as always, you can...
Dude, they all have sound. You're lying to me. Every single one has sound. Bedrock Linux. Bedrock, isn't it just like a mess and like an amalgamation of like a ton of other different Linuxes? Or is it not? There are no DWM packages, but there are patches. Right? Like there's no DWM binary that I can like pull down, right? Isn't that the idea? Dude, the first one totally has sound. That's just you, bro.
What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be installing Arch Linux. Before we get started, I wanted to link you guys to a few resources.
That's me, man. That's my voice. So that's installing Arch Linux from 2020. So it's old. Maybe it's changed. Yeah, that's what, I don't know. I might have misspoke and said there was DWM packages if I said that, but I guess my point is that DWM is nice because like there's no, you can't just install it, right? Like maybe the AUR has something. Arch use it. Can I just type in AUR? I have it bookmarked. I literally never search for it. Yeah, there you go. Packages. And there's got to be something here. Why is the popularity always in the wrong direction? Yeah, I guess you can install... Look, there's Luke's DWM. I wonder if he packaged it or if someone else did. Yeah, it looks like you can install a lot with... this. I might have spoke too soon, but I always thought the idea was that you patched your DWM. So I guess you obviously could install someone else's, and you could install like the base one. But isn't the idea that you like fork it and then just write all the stuff in that you want and patch it with what you want? I thought that was the idea. BSPWM goes burr. I've never used BSPWM. I've never had a, I don't know, never really wanted to. Yes, there is. Debian has DWM available. Interesting. So do you, I'm going to have to learn more about it. All I have on DWM is, if we go to my blog, topics, I just did one on Ledger Live. I don't know if you guys are into crypto, but if you are, make sure you got a hardware wallet. How did I install this? You install all this shit. Need Git, browser. Make your config directory. Yeah, this is how I was installing it. Clone DWM from sucklist. Make them. Get yourself a display manager. Enable that display manager. Get yourself a desktop guy so you can, like, you know, use it with a display manager, I guess. Add this nonsense. And these are the basic commands. This is how I got it set up, at least. I guess you could install it through a package, but would you want to do that? Because how could you patch it then? Maybe I'm crazy. I guess you just need the config or whatever. Yeah. I don't even know where I'm getting the binary from that it's running. Anyway. Does that work too? There's literally AUR search? No way. No freaking way. DWM. Wow. Dude, how am I going to leave Arch Linux? I'm not doing it. I'm not leaving Arch Linux. I don't care. Me and your grandma will use Arch Linux together and we'll be just fine. You can install the shit, but then does it literally just patch it and then you don't have to do anything? That feels like cheating. Maybe I'll just install Luke's DWM and I can just be like, screw it. What's a baiting version? C-downs? Personalizations? I don't know who C-down is. Dude, I want one of these. DistroTube has one. Freaking GNOME, what? Start suckless DWM wrapped in a GNOME set? I'm good, bro. Everybody's got their own one that they packaged. I feel like I'm real late to the party here. Whatever, I'll get one. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was pretty sure I was compiling it. Yeah, you just make install it, right? I took Luke's down from his GitHub and then modded it. Luke's about to get banned, son. He's about to get kicked off the platform. Try Romano Ferrari channel. He has a good video about... Is that EF Tech? EF Tech or whatever? EF Linux? Yeah. No, I'm subscribed to him. I'm going to do it through the documentation as much as I can, though. The idea is you have a minimal base window manager. If you add more features, just run a simple patch on their website. Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but I guess you can just install the patch. I'd rather do it the hard way. I'd rather actually get the patch and install it, you know, however it is that you have to do it. I've literally never done anything else. You can go with Sway WM. I'm not doing Sway because right now I have an NVIDIA graphics card, and I used to use it for like deep learning and stuff, but honestly, I'll probably gonna just take my NVIDIA graphics card and chuck it because I'm so tired of my software not being free, you know. Grands like it upstream. Yeah. Well, why is Luke getting booted? I don't know. Go read his website. Apparently, he's locked out of his account or something like that. So he's getting the boot. He says naughty things, and so YouTube's had enough of him. There's a binary already in the config. Yeah, so why not use that, right? Why not use the binary that comes with it? Is there a benefit to writing plugins in Lua rather than any other language like JS? Yes. Because Lua JIT is fast. Very, very, very fast. And JS is like not that fast. And JS needs to leave. JS, there needs to be like people going against JS. You know what I mean? There needs to be like people who are like, all right, I'm willing to learn another language. I will now know 2 languages. I'll know JS and Lua, you know, instead of just JavaScript for everything. Can I KVM with a single GPU by setting up my motherboard's VGA as primary? What are you saying? Like, you know, use your GPU in a virtual machine? I've never tried to do that, if that's what you're saying. Have you noticed any slowdowns in Neovim in the master branch? For me, match parens was causing significant delay when typing. I have not recently built Neovim. You know what I could do right now, though, because I have it as a binary on my system? I will just install the latest Neovim. I run this like every now and then. Actually, really fast, what we can do is go Neovim, or NVim, Vim version. And we'll see what we get after we build our new one and install it. You have to go. Well met, sir. Thanks for your good work. Yep, no problem. Have a good one, man. I mean, Lua is a first-class language for Neovim, so not sure what benefits are on that. Lua JIT is just look up Lua just-in-time compiler, and you'll see that it's the reason that it was chosen. Anyway, we're going to install this, and rather than using any language, there's a way to use single GPU pass-through. Check out some ordinary gamers. There's a video about it. Seems like a lot of work just to pass a GPU through, but I guess if you have a good reason to do it. Okay, I thought I had to do something there. Yeah, init.vim. We're gonna get rid of some of the stuff that we have added, so that's dashboard. Emit, NVim, tree, find file, telescope, this thing, we're keeping that, Where's Bracey at? Because we got rid of that. Brace, because I never even put anything in for it. I don't think this will work anymore without Plague. You know what? I probably deserve being seg faulted right now because I'm literally trying to use Vim as I'm installing it. That's my bad. Let's close this window. And let's hope terrible things didn't happen. I get the speed of Lua JIT. What state do I live in? I don't know if I want to tell you that, man. No, I don't care. I live in New Jersey. It's terrible because everything costs a lot of money. Like a lot of money. If you want to like buy a house or something like that, dude, good luck. You have to sell a kidney. Yeah, the reason for gaming without dual booting. I guess it depends on the game, but you can play a lot of games in just Arch Linux. I get the speed. I don't mean there is a benefit to Lua as a language in general, but does it get special benefits from Neovim as it's represented as first-class language in Neovim? Yeah. You get all of the stuff, right? Like well, okay, let's make sure that this works. Okay, you get all of see how fast that was, man? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm already searching for the file I want. My brain didn't even have time to keep up. But anyway, like, if you come in here and you do like vim.api and you get all of these Neovim features. Why would you write it in JS when you get all of this, right? And there are more other than that. There's other globals, there's other good things to use. So I would recommend doing everything in Lua. Okay, that works. We were just going to go get rid of some of the stuff from WitchKey, so let's do that, and then I'm going to probably end the stream after that. Okay, this is Bracey. Get out of here. Well, I'm going to have to bring this down here. And you down here, because I don't really need these. And someone can install them, I guess, if they want them, but we're trying to, like, bring this down. I'd really like to be able to, like, have people pass their own plugins in that config file, and I think it could be done. But yeah, I would just have to write a function, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. Cody, I'm definitely keeping coding. Or Cody. B delete. Is there buffer delete? Buffer. close. Like if I do that. Yeah, okay. That exists already. So why don't I do which key with, and instead of that, we'll just do buffer close. And then, I don't know why I didn't use X, but whatever. What does this do? The hell was that? B. Okay, that doesn't seem to really do anything. Alright, we're going to do buffer close, and then I'm going to come back over here, go down into Lua and plugins, and we're going to search for BB. That's not searching. BB. And we're going to toss you now into the graveyard. Alright. This is a significantly leaner config now. We will try to even go leaner than this in the future. Let's see, make sure. Also, we're going to want to do Packer sync, I guess we'll do. No, let's do that later, because first I want, oh. I guess that doesn't even matter, it's going to run it anyway. Probably get rid of Fugitive unless I need it for Rhubarb, though. Let's see if there's any more comments. Did fonts render properly with Neovim first try? Yeah. If you wrote in any other language, you wouldn't have access to that API. As far as I know, yes. How would you do those things? I have no idea. Which tag of Lua language server are you using? Don't recompile it. It just showed me 120 isn't working and 119.0 is consuming 100% CPU. I use whatever LSP install gives me. The NVIM LSP install from Kareem. We still waiting for a personal plugin comes. Oh, what? Like me making a personal plugin? Yeah, I mean, I could probably think of something to make, but maybe like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like maybe making like a settings plugin or something like that so you can like change things, but I don't know exactly how I would expose that API. So I just don't really need to create anything. I've helped a few other people out, small things with their plugins though. We're gonna go back into this, and we want to, D is for debug, F is for folds, M is for that. We're gonna keep that. Sessions, we're gonna get rid of this for now. Oh wait, there's other things. Like we're getting rid of this. I just don't need it. I'll keep it around like if I ever want to bring it back, but and then also don't really need NeoGit when I have float terminal. Okay. Save this. Okay, what happened here? Alright, and now we'll do Packer update. Yes. Alright, we got it down to 53 from like 65. Alright, so again, I'm probably just gonna end the stream now with that. Let me really fast do this and add this stuff up. So update this, update this, update this, update this, and update this. Updates. I'm not creative with it right now. And then I'm just gonna discard that file. All right, yeah. Come over here. All right, so, you know, oh look, I got more comments over here on, we'll slowly create a Twitch and Theta following. I'm going to need to change a few things with that, but we'll see where we get to. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for showing up to the stream. Really quick, why is it in LazyGit there is no highlight over the file that's selected? I don't know. Maybe it's because it was in Neovim, but I didn't even notice. I think there's like a small highlight, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so I have been streaming for probably too long now, so I am going to be done. You can now find me over on Twitch. I simul stream to both Twitch and to YouTube. I will be streaming to Odyssey and to Theta in the future to support more crypto platforms. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this stream. I'll see you guys in the next one.